What's going on, guys? This is the Twins of Destruction back with another video. Today we're going over the answers on this settings survey for the future of Assassin's Creed. And I don't know how to pronounce his name, but this is courtesy to this user on Reddit. I'll also be linking the post down below. So this user on Reddit posted his survey results that were sent to him from Ubisoft in an email. He said there was more to the survey, but this is all he posted. So overall, I found this to be very interesting because Ubisoft actually takes fans' input into account for future settings of the games, and they have actually done this before, and this is just the one that was posted recently. So, okay, let's get down to the actual settings they listed. So the first one is Genghis Khan and the Mongol invasions. So something we've already seen before was Genghis Khan in he was referenced in Assassin's Creed Revelations, the Assassin's Creed 1 book, and he was killed in 1227 with the team of Altair, Maria, Darim, and a Mongolian assassin, Kulan Gal. Genghis Khan had a Sword of Eden, but they were unable to retrieve it. Khan's grandson actually ended up attacking Alamut and Masyaf, which was the scene in Revelations. And then the Tomb of the Khan comic with the Trident of Eden prong being buried with one of the Khans. So they have a lot of potential to touch upon pieces of Eden and just the influence the Khans had over the land of like Russia and Mongolia and the surrounding area. So the next one was the invasion of the Americas by the Spanish Conquistadors. So that pretty much started whenever Christopher Columbus came across to America in 1492, and it lasted pretty much in the 15th century, and it was basically the war between the Aztec Empire and Spain, and it was Cortez who was also referenced in the first Last Descendants comic because he had connections to the Trident of Eden, so they could even continue with the Trident of Eden story. Third is Joan of Arc's battles and the rise of the Black Death during the 100 Years' War. So Joan of Arc was touched upon in Assassin's Creed Heresy and just the truth in Assassin's Creed 2. And Joan was reported to have had a piece of Eden, and even in Heresy was expanded upon. And the Templars killed her so they can get it because she was being backed by the assassins and they knew she had a piece of Eden. And along with the Black Death, that was a disease that killed 1/3 of the population of Europe. So they could do a lot with that by just showing how the people reacted to the Black Death and then put storylines through it. Like they had it a little bit in Assassin's Creed 2 with the Plague Doctors, but there almost wasn't enough, I feel. So if they were to do it again, I think that'd be really cool to actually see how they can explain the seriousness of the Black Death. Fourth is the Spanish Inquisition, which is the setting of the Assassin's Creed movie. And I'm not sure if they're definitely not going to redo the movie. They would probably do either before or after. Obviously before or after, but like what before? Aguilar didn't become an assassin, obviously, until the beginning of the movie. So they could either do previous assassins maybe taking place as Maria and guarding the Apple of Eden, or after the movie and seeing what Aguilar is doing. Fifth is the warlord battles of feudal Japan. People have been wanting feudal Japan for years now, and then they've been saying the same thing about Egypt and feudal Japan, and we finally got Egypt. So maybe this is the time for feudal Japan. I'm thinking samurais, who are the nobles, and ninjas, who are the mercenaries and kind of like the poorer people. So it's like the Templars versus the assassins. And it could be a struggle between poor and rich. Sixth is the Peloponnesian War. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Between Athens and Sparta in classical Greece. That took place around 431 to 404 BC. This is not 300, the movie with Leonidas. This is not that battle. That was about 100 years prior to this. So don't get confused whenever you just hear Sparta. This is actually different Sparta. They also had a lot of naval battles. The war was split up into 3 parts, and part 1 was basically all naval battles. So that could be a possibility for the way naval battles were introduced in Origins. They were different, with different attributes and abilities to use. Number 7 is the William the Conqueror and the invasion of Europe. This took place in 1066, and it was a fight for the throne. William was a Duke of Normandy, which is in France, and he thought he owned the rights to the British throne. Spoiler alert, he ended up getting those rights, and he got to sit on the throne and basically made the English language what it is today. And it's just another conquering story. Viking invasions and their great army. The Great Viking Army was around circa 880, and it would just be their invasions and battles throughout Britain and Europe. The 9, the violent conflicts of the imperial dynasties in medieval China. So the medieval dynasties were around 1271 to 1368 in the Yuan dynasty, but other locations we've heard about with characters were Wei Yu, who in 210 BCE killed the emperor, and Xiao Jun, who in 1505, she was born in 1505, and we had her story told in Chronicles China in around 1526 to around the 1530s. So if this is medieval, it would go way before those two and actually set the stones for how those two assassins would do their amazing deeds throughout the years. So whether we would actually see their stones being laid is up to what they show. 10 is Hannibal's invasion of Rome. This was the Second Punic War from 218 to 204 BC. This was Hannibal's invasion from just his invasion into Italy in general, but he was from Africa, and he was just considered one of the greatest strategists of all time, next to Alexander the Great and others like Caesar. 11 is the Dark Ages and the historical King Arthur. First off, the sword of King Arthur has to be a piece of Eden because it's pulled out of a stone. Maybe King Arthur has first civilization DNA. Maybe that's what reacted with him pulling the sword out of the stone. Maybe that's why he was able to do it, because his DNA was the one that matched with the sword. According to the Assassin's Creed wiki, King Arthur was the quote-unquote start of the actual Templars, leading to where they were in the modern. Well, you may ask, but I thought the Order of the Ancients was the start. Well, there are multiple starts. People from across the world can say they started something, but in reality it was started somewhere else. It's just the modernization of it and how it was in modern England. So that could be interesting to explore. 12, it was the rise of the Roman Empire in the Mediterranean basin. This was somewhat explored in the comic, which is now not canon, so they can kind of redo their own thing. Rome was founded in 753 BC and became a republic in 509 BC, so they got the Democratic Party and people pushing people in and out, and the conflicts of trying to get who's trying to rule, so that could be interesting with a democratic edge. 13 is the Conquests of Alexander the Great. If you didn't play Assassin's Creed Origins, as Alexander the Great has a huge influence across Europe and more specifically Egypt, because that's where Origins takes place. In 323 BC, the assassin Iltani assassinated him, hoping to retrieve the Staff of Eden, which he also had, and he used for like speeches and giving morale to his soldiers. And if you had read the Last Descendants comic, the Trident of Eden was also owned by Alexander the Great, and that is what he used for his battles, because each prong gave fear, devotion, and loyalty. So the staff was for the speeches, and the trident was for the battle. So if they can go on and explain how he successfully conquered all of Europe and how he used this trident and the staff. Maybe even get to play as Iltani, but that is also up for debate because it could be like Origins, and it could just leave Amunet's fate and how she killed Cleopatra up to maybe just either future games or just lore in general. Lastly is 14, the overthrowing of the Tsar Empire by the Communists during the Russian Revolution. This was also a comic book, which was called The Fall and the Chain, and I think there was a third one. This also was a video game, Chronicles Russia. It involves Nikola Orlov, and in 1918, the Russian Revolution, you see characters like Nikola Tesla, Tsar Nicholas II, Thomas Edison, what's her name, Anastasia, and the Box of Eden, which Chronicles revolves around, and the Staff of Eden, which the comics revolve around. This could be interesting because there was already a game, they could either take information that was already done from the game and expand upon it, or the comics and expand upon it, or start completely new and just do a story that has never been told. There's a lot to do with the Russian Revolution, with the uprising of the communists and Nikola Orlov's impact. They could either do Nikola's kid, or Nikola himself, or Nikola's ancestors. I think that'd be really interesting. Any of these options would be really, really interesting. I love history, and I love exploring new aspects of it. So seeing all these options really got me excited. If you liked any of the ideas I had for each option, please put them down in the comments below. If you have any new ideas for each option, please put them down in the comments below. If you liked what I said, please leave a like, subscribe for more content. I'll link other videos, like to the Rogue HD Remastered rumors down below, in case you want to hear about that. We also have new cosplay videos coming out for pretty soon, so keep up to date for those. I'll link those down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more content. Thank you.